You making a crane?
Yeah.
You're so creative with that tape.
No, it's mine. It's my tape. I was making
I'm not gonna lie, Emmett, I kind of need that piece. Can I use that piece? Welcome back, everybody. Another day working on the bus. I happen to get Good Friday off, which is a great Friday, right? When you don't have to work. But I get to work. So when I'm not working, I'm working. We ended off last weekend. We did some of our wainscoting trim. Now we have to put this flat and we're going to go over it with an orbital sander, smooth out all these little edges, fill them in with filler, smooth them again, primer them, etc. So that they're all nice and ready for paint. We're going to go around the edges with some sealer and get everything nice and pretty. We're going to sand the plywoods. Everything gets sanded, everything gets primed, everything gets filled, etc. What I'm working on today is in the kids' bunk area. I did the front fascias for our drawers. Again, we'll have to sand and primer them, get them all nice and smooth. I'll probably start working on trimming the bunk areas, and that way the bunk area is nice and maybe get it somewhat completed. We'll see. This is what we accomplished yesterday. We kind of framed out the bed area. Now, we're doing a queen bed, so we have 80 by 60 here. What I'll do is, because there's so much room inside of it, we didn't necessarily want to do drawers, but instead, because we need access to that hatch for the top of the motor and transmission, etc., we were opting to have a lift up bed. So we'll get some gas shocks. I'm going to build a frame inside of this frame. So we want it to be as low as possible, but we also have to go over that box right there. And inside that box is the air cleaner for the engine and that big air intake duct right there. So we've built up our frame. This will support the bed. It is nice and sturdy as always. Then over here off to the side, we have our big giant cabinet for our closet. I'm going to put a piece right here just because I don't think we're going to need shelves all the way to the floor. Actually, I'll probably put it a little bit lower. And so what I'm working on today is I'm going to start framing out this part so that we can start looking into door options. But one of the things is we have this big giant harness left over. So this went to the passenger side area where the restroom was, and then there was kind of like a gap in the overhead bins. And so this is the wiring harness for all of that, as well as the controls and some stereo stuff. So it's not needed. The bus runs, all the lights work. And so what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to carefully, I'm going to go downstairs, make sure the bus is turned off, and then I'm going to cut it right here. I'm going to take all these connections and basically cap them off. And so that way, you know, if for some reason we ever needed it, we could hook it back up. But for the most part, there's probably about, 12 wires inside of here. We're just going to go ahead and cut those one by one, cap them off, and then we'll be done with this big giant wire harness. We also have a big wire harness on this side of the bus, but there's not much we can do with that because it goes up in behind the air harness or the air intake. It's hooked into all of the lighting. So there's that. So we'll try and hide it as best as possible and get it out of the way for all of our framing back here in the back of the bus. And again, I'm just trying to make as much useful space as possible, but I don't want to see any of that, obviously. So we have some of our drawers made. We're making yet another Home Depot run. I just need to get the plywood to go into the bottoms, and then I can shut all those together, glue them all together. We've got the one drawer, fits right in its little cubby. We'll put a face on front of that. I'll put the rails, so that's still to come. The front faces are all loose so that we can still sand them. In the back bedroom, this is where I kind of spent the majority of my day. So we have our bed and our bed frame. We're going to be making a lid. Not really a lid. It will sit inside of this frame, so it will go flush when it's down. And because it's 80 by 60, I need to have some type of like cross bracing in here. And then we'll do gas shocks and it'll lift up. But I want it as low as possible because it's already high enough being on top of that box. We've got some support back there in the back corner. That's all glued and screwed into those. And then I've just kind of been thinking about what to do with the back wall. So this is what I've kind of come up with. Everything's just kind of like hanging there. But we have that air intake to deal with. And I'm trying to figure out how to make it as non-ugly as possible. And this is what I've kind of come up with. So we've got a piece across the top there. That'll be nice and sturdy because we're gonna flat face across here and we'll put some doors similar to this closet door here. So we'll have some doors that open because there's a big chunk of space back here, you know, like this is almost 2 feet tall, about a foot deep, and it's 61 inches wide. I mean, that's a big chunk of space right there. So we'll put a wall here. We'll have our wall here, and we'll probably just leave this open into the closet area. Or maybe I'll put a wall here just so that, whoop, see, things are just kind of sitting there. You can kind of see when I take this off, I mean, I got to get around that big tube and I'm trying to figure out how to make it not so ugly. I was originally thinking with like that step design to do kind of like a tiered box that comes out, but I feel like that would just be kind of ugly. And if we're going to have something here that we're going to be hitting our head on possibly, I might as well make it a cabinet that we can put stuff in. I mean, we're not really hurting for space. We've got our big closet here. We've got storage underneath. But I just feel like we can make a good use of this space. Now, you can kind of see the outline of a rectangle there. Behind that wall, so that's a 3/4 inch sheet of plywood because I wanted it to be sturdy because, you know, most of our walls in here are just, they're skinned, right? Like, we don't want to put up 3/4 inch sheets of plywood all over the bus. Those things are heavy, you know, so we're not really putting anything on these walls. So it's just real thin skinned plywood. Now these walls here need to have some structure to them because they're holding up one side of the bunk. Same with the other side. So we went a little bit heavier. These walls are nice and sturdy. But also in here, we're going to have the closet, you know, like this needs to be sturdy. We're going to be pulling on the door. We're going to have shelves inside of here or whatever, you know, maybe a bar for hanging clothes. I don't really know yet. Not really sure how we're going to use that. But with the bed here, you know, like we're going to have our pillows and stuff and we're going to be leaning on that. So I didn't want to do like a real thin sheet of plywood and then be worried that we're going to like fall through it or crack it or whatever. So we did a 3/4 inch sheet of sanded birch plywood. And for those of you who are making your bus walls out of 3/4 inch plywood, I don't know how you're doing it. One sheet, $60 right now. I could not imagine all of the sheets that we've used for all of our wall. it would be thousands of dollars. Like, I don't know how you're doing it. Lumber right now is so expensive. So we've got that one back wall back there. I bought another sheet to make our drawers out of. But so far, that's 2 sheets of 3/4 inch sanded birch ply, $120 for 2 sheets. It is insane. I've done some projects in the past. I've made like these huge armoires. I probably used 8 sheets of 3/4 inch cabinet ply. They were like $24 back in the day. You know, like it's just crazy. Anyways, long rant. We have this rectangle right here. There is a cavity behind there. There's space. I would love to make use of it, but at the same time, then we would have a door there, and we'd have to like trim it. We'd have a handle. I just don't know if we need it. Also, we kind of have this like overhang right here. We'll probably put like 2 lights so that they, you know, light up the bed. The wife kind of wants to put some kind of like decorative, I don't know, mosaic or something right here. So we'll have to figure that out. But you can see I cleaned up. So I just put some butt connectors on those wires and they're just kind of hanging there for now. But I think that's what we're gonna do in this area is flat face that, 2 doors. That way we can get in there. We've got a door for the cabinet. We'll make those match and we'll be done with it. So thanks for listening to me talk. I'm gonna go grab me some dinner, but I have like a whole mess out there that I gotta pick up. So one of the reasons I need bottom sheets for the drawers. The drawers sliders are 24 inches deep, so we have some, or 24 inches deep. These are soft close, ball bearing drawers sliders. So they're 24 inches deep, but the board is, you know, you got to give it plus 1/4 inch, a little lip for that to go into. So it comes out to about 24.5. Well, all of the sheets of plywood that we've cut for the walls and such, we cut 24 inches off. So I have pieces that are 24. I don't have any pieces that are 24.5. So back to Home Depot, 2 more sheets of plywood. Luckily, those are real thin. I think those are about 16 bucks. We've got 1 drawer in here and it's got its, hey, we got a drawer. So these are 30 inches across, 24 inches deep. Should be plenty of storage for the kids' clothes and whatnot. That's cool. Those are just kind of loose in there, but I got the other 3 that I got to make. So that's what we'll be working on tonight. Thanks for joining. Hope you like this episode. Like and subscribe. No, we are not selling the bus. That was just an April Fool's joke, but apparently it went horrible. We lost some subscribers in the process. We're new to this YouTube thing. Apparently you don't joke about closing your YouTube channel because people run for the hills and unsubscribe and all that. So that was a little bit of a bummer. We were just trying to, you know, be silly. Thought it'd be funny. We had some phone calls from people, family members that were asking us what the heck was going on. So yeah, sorry about that. Kind of a bad joke.
Here we go, working at a template again. Trying to get the curvature of this piece right here for above our bed. And
So
Derek,
somebody decided to make a round bus.
contraption.
They're like, hey, let's make the roof round, because that'll be fun. Oh, I need one that's longer. So I just put a pencil and a piece of wood, and I'm basically going to go like this, and I'm going to drag the wood along it, and it'll just scribe a line. I just need a longer piece of wood.
You're so smart.
Big brain!
And I drug in my old template from when we did these walls. My template. Remember this template? Yeah, that was a lot of work. And I was gonna use that, but this is a much better idea. Let's see how it works. How's it working?
It's so good.
Wow. Big brain.
I need something that like slides better on the top.
A piece of foam.
Or like make it round or something.
This is the cap for the door jamb over there.
I don't want to mess with the floor. But it's a little long. So, we just need to do filler and sand everything. And the cap will go over this. And then I'll take my router, once we figure out the doors and how those will fit, I'll take my router and I'll cut, or my table saw, and cut a channel out of this guy, okay, so that the door fits in a little notch here. And that way when the door is shut and the door is locked, you know, you can't play peekaboo past the door.